a stranger to St. Mary's Mead. No sooner do I get here than the town is beset by murder. I do hope my darling and I are not in any danger.
I certainly hope not, but I did have a few questions for you specifically.
And by darling, I mean my imaginary friend, because I'm a bachelor.
Yes. Well, if you start with my hair, make it quicker if we do this at the same time. There was reports that you were found in the women's section of a department store this past Saturday.
Department store? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I was in the department store. Yes, exactly. I was buying some new curtains. Yes, new curtains for the barber shop. You know, it's so important to have an environment inside the barber shop that will make people feel at home.
I don't seem to see any curtains around.
Said I couldn't find any that I like, and so I'm using them as insulation instead. Yes, I've shoved them in the wall.
Quite an interesting tactic. Bertrand, where were you on Saturday at 7 p.m.?
So is that what this is about, Inspector? You come here under the guise of requiring my services, when in fact you're accusing me of this heinous murder?
I'm not accusing you. I simply want to know your whereabouts. And, as I've been an inspector for 15 years, I always start off a case with a fresh haircut. And I used to have my haircut done by the Colonel himself, but he sadly passed away from a cough. And I thought that I would knock this out while we are at it. So,
well, Inspector, you're wasting your time. I would think that a man of your obvious years and experience...
Inspector General, I knew I would find you. Here I was looking for this gentleman.
Finglehorn! Why are you interrupting my appointment?
Well, you see, I have a clue, and it pertains to this hairstylist.
This man here?
Yes.
Well, all right, then out with it.
I found on the lovely lady's murdered body a lock of hair. Do you recognize this?
A lock of hair? Why, no, of course. As you can see, that is not my hair.
Oh, he's daft.
Well, let me see this. Certainly, since you are advertising that you are giving free haircuts,
I always advertise free haircuts, sir! When I first make my mark in a new town. Surely that's not incriminating, is it?
Well, when I walked in here, I perused your trash can, for evidence, of course, and I saw hair matching this, indicating that you had cut this person's hair. So, out with it, Bertrand.
Are you going to deny that you don't cut hair?
All right, Inspector, all right. Might I a word in private with the Inspector?
Finglehorn, continue, as you were.
I shall look for more clues. They will definitely be on that poor, sad lady's body.
All right, Inspector.
While you tell me, please even out my sideburns.
You're absolutely right. I was in that department store today, and I did buy a pair of black stockings. But I promise you, Inspector, it's a sheer coincidence that that woman was murdered with black stockings. I know how it makes me look, which is why I was hiding the information when you asked me about it a moment ago.
Then why the stockings? You said that you don't have a woman of your own, are they for yourself, perhaps?
I was lying. As a matter of fact, I'm not a bachelor. And my name is not Bertrand. My name is Episcopal Jones.
I see, and would you be willing to spell that?
P-I-Scopal. J-O...
Thank you. Well,
Inspector, let me confess something to you, if I might.
another.
You see, I do have a sweetheart. a dear, wonderful, marvelous woman named Estelle. And Estelle and I, well, I love her, you see, and it's my dearest dream to take her away from here before she dies. You see, I'm a physician, and I met dear Estelle during an examination one day. That sounds creepy, but it's not. You see, upon examining her, I told her that I could no longer treat her. I could not become a physician because I knew at once she had only 2 short years to live.
Oh dear, how long ago was this?
1 year and 11 months ago.
I'm very sorry.
Yes. You see, all I want to do is to make the last month of her life to be a joyous one for her. You see, Inspector, she doesn't even know she's ill. I never told her. I just want her to live out the remaining 30 days, being a happy woman, perhaps somewhere far away from here. And so, I brought her here. And I'll confess one more thing to you, Inspector. I brought her here and feigned the name of Bertrand because I was planning to run a confidence scheme and rob the simpletons of this village of their money. But I realize now, when this murder happened, and the black stockings were coincidentally the same stockings that I had purchased, that the light of the law would shine on me. And so I'm confessing everything to you. Yes, I was going to rob money, but it wasn't because I planned on killing anybody. It was so I could get Estelle away and keep her happy. And then, when I found out that this stranger was murdered with black stockings, well, I just panicked, Inspector. I just panicked.
Well, Episcopal.
Please, call me Spall.
Spall, have you seen my wallet?
Your wallet?
Oh, there it is, right. I don't remember leaving it there. Pay you for the haircut.
Oh.
Thank you for divulging all that information.
Inspector, I can count on your confidence so that Estelle needn't know her last 30 days are, in fact, her last.
Well, I'm a bit of a confidence man myself, so you may have confidence in me.
All right.
Herman, thank you for meeting me here. Of course, Joseph. Would you care for a spot of tea?
Allow me.
All right. But don't think that this ingratiates you to me. I've come here to make you a deal.
A deal?
Yes, a deal.
What kind?
Oh. Earl Grey, terrible.
What kind of a deal?
I don't trust you, Herman. So I've written a number on this check. You take this check, then you leave my sister for forever. For some reason, she thinks that the rascal that is you is something of worth. You and I know better, Herman. We go way back.
You were always quite a kidder, were you not?
Yes, but about this I'm deadly serious.
You're serious about this number, which is 0.
Yes. That's right. If you don't leave my sister,
Or what?
something dark will happen to you.
Something dark will happen to you. Yes, my dears. Murder often strikes twice in the same place, unlike lightning. And so, in our story, just after those words were spoken, someone else was found to be dead. But who do you think it was?
Estelle.
Episcopal Jones.
Estelle.
Josephine.
Cat lady.
Cat lady. Episcopal.
Estelle!
Yeah.
She only had one month to live.
She was gonna die anyway. She didn't know that.
My dears, poor Estelle's ironic sudden death was quite a surprise, and her body was discovered like this.
Inspector! Inspector! Are you in this blasted office or not? Where are you?
I'm right here. Why? What is the meaning of this?
You act as if you know nothing about this. My Estelle is dead!
Estelle was the woman you were telling me about.
Yes! Oh, Inspector. There I was, walking home from the barber shop to our little cottage, where I swear to you, after our talk, Inspector, I was going to be completely honest with her. I was going to tell her that she only had 30 days to live. You see, Inspector, I always felt that she didn't quite love me as much as I loved her. There was something between us. Perhaps she knew, perhaps somewhere deep inside, she knew that I was lying to her, and that caused the distance. So I was going to tell her the truth. I steeled my nerve. I entered our cottage, and there were her legs, dangling from the chimney in the fireplace.
Oh my God.
I pulled her out! And her eyes were bulging like grapefruits. Her lips were blue and leathery. Her scabbed tongue was hanging out at a 45-degree angle. And she was dead.
I guess.
My dear Episcopal, do you believe it was her disease that caused this?
What kind of disease would shut a woman in a chimney?
You make a fair point.
I tell you, Inspector, I don't know quite how I'm to go on without her.
Please, take a seat.
My friends, it was at this point that the dear Detective Inspector Craddock had an idea. He remembered a certain peculiar case that had taken quite a bit of time. One that I had assisted him with. It was a case in which someone had been found in a dumpster. And he put two and two together, chimney, dumpster, and he thought to call on my assistance.
Surely, Inspector, you will devote all of your resources to discovering the scoundrel that killed my love.
Well, you see, Episcopal, you happen to have arrived in the right town, for St. Mary Mead is the home of the finest detective in all of England.
You speak quite highly of yourself for having done nothing.
No, Mr. Jones, I do not speak of myself. I speak of my dear friend, Miss Jane Marple. And I believe she is just the person who can figure out what happened to your dear, sweet Estelle. Now, I'll lead you back to the barber shop.
I don't think I can work today.
Brother dear, come in and sit down.
Yes, Josephine, I shall.
Well, I've asked Miss Marple to come. I want to make sure that you had nothing to do with this because I'm suspecting you.
Why on earth would I murder two people?
I don't know yet, but I still have my sympathy.
Oh, Jane, welcome, welcome. It's so nice to see you.
Joseph! Josephine.
Yes, our parents were not very creative.
Thank you so much for inviting me over for tea. Such horrible news in the town of late. 2 murders.
I know. I'm worried about it, and I just want to make sure that we have every chance to exonerate ourselves before any other problem.
Why on earth would we be suspected in general? I'm beginning to think that you had something to do with this.
Me? My gosh, you've forgotten your manners completely. You're accusing me of, in my own living room, of murder, and we haven't even served tea yet.
I'm sorry.
Children, you have a tendency to bicker like this. Why, I quite remember you would come over to my garden when you were both little tots, and you would throw cabbages at each other. Will you sit down, please? Listen to me.
Here, darling.
You're right, Jane. We do bicker in times of stress. It's not something I'm proud of, but well, what should we do?
Well, for starters, tell the truth.
Yes.
And secondly, support one another unless you genuinely suspect motive and mean.
I am supporting him by calling you in here to exonerate us from the start, so there's no question. This town is too small. There's only so many suspects.
Well, my dear, then where were you when all of this happened?
Well, I was here. I was in the living room, of course, except for that time that I met... Well, Herman and I were in the woods. But even with a fast car, we couldn't have gotten to the place and murdered them and gotten back to the woods to finish our business.
My dear, I suspect what your business might have been, and being the Christian that I am, I'm not going to push any further. But, well, that is quite convenient, of course. Did anyone see you?
Well, it was the woods. Of course they didn't see us. That's precisely why we chose the woods. The woods, of course, you know, secret meetings.
Except, my dear, from my window, I do have a view of the lane that goes to the woods, and I was peering out the window at that time, and I didn't see any passerby.
Well, of course, we didn't pass by. We were in the woods.
This is a rather convoluted story. I think you'll agree, Jane.
Well, you will tell her about trying to bribe Herman to leave me, won't you?
Yes. He's a rascal, a rapscallion, a scoundrel.
Just like our father.
He's a rapscallion, a scoundrel, just like our father. My dears, they were just confessing everything to me then. What do you think, my dears? What do you think happened next? Another murder?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, no, not quite yet. But, well, it is time for us to finish our tea, so we're going to take a nice little break.